Ladies and gentlemen, today on the program, it's the return of our old friend Rakefet Abergel. You remember Rakefet, do you not? Episode number 26, she is a Hollywood actor who, several years ago, was not getting the kinds of roles she wanted to play, and so instead of sulking about it, our Rakefet said, you know what? If you're not going to cast me in the movies I want, I'm just going to make my own movies, thank you very much, and then I'll play the roles I want. Now, a funny thing happened when Rakefet undertook the process of making her own movies. She realized that she's not only a great actor, but also a great screenwriter, a great director, and a great producer, and her work speaks for itself. Now, Rakefet has 2 short films out there, making waves in the industry. Her first film, Jackson Love, is available on Prime in the United States of America, which is a big deal. And for those of us who cannot access Prime USA, it's also available on Vimeo On Demand. So go out there and find Jackson Love. Now, we're talking today because her most recent short horror film, Boo, is about to premiere and in fact may have already premiered on Alter. Now, if you don't know Alter, that's a big deal, okay? Alter is a site where they show short films and they have a massive audience of millions who watch these things. And for Rakefet to place her movie there is really, well, it tells you everything you need to know about the quality of her work. But if you need numbers, you might want to know that Boo has appeared in 60 film festivals as an official selection and taken home 44 awards and counting, including acting and directing awards for Rakefet herself. Not too shabby, right? So we're going to have a fun conversation about COVID Los Angeles, about screenwriting, about filmmaking, about what she's doing right now, because the film industry, much like the music industry, is kind of going at maybe 10% at this moment. So what do you do if that's your livelihood and that's what you do with your time? Well, she's been up to some interesting stuff and she's going to tell us all about it. But before we get to that, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of the people for your feedback on the last episode, The Triumphant Return. It was heartwarming for me, warmed the cockles to have people tell me how much they were glad that there was a new episode and how much they enjoyed it. If you haven't heard it yet, it's a solo episode. It's all music all the time. I'm talking Van Halen, I'm talking AC/DC, some of the formative music in my life, which may be some of the formative music in your life. So if you haven't listened yet, go and check it out. But before you do that, have a listen to this conversation with Rakefet. She is awesome. I really enjoy talking to her, and I'm inspired by her story, man. You know, you got to find a way to make it happen. You know, Making It Happen was the title of her first episode. She's found a way. She continues to find a way, even though the world is upside down right now, and that has most certainly affected her industry. But let's just get to it, and you can hear her talk about it for herself. We can't do that until we hit the button, and that responsibility belongs to Mr. Denny Boy. So, Denny Boy, reach that finger over and roll intro. Hello. You're listening to the John Huff Podcast. Oh, yay.
Let's see. Is that working?
Oh, yeah, you jumped right up there. What happens is, if you don't wear headphones, my voice goes through the machine to your machine,
and bounces back
into the speakers, and bounces back into mine. And it's okay. It becomes a pain on my end, that's all.
Not a problem.
And I haven't interviewed anybody in so long that I forgot that part.
That's okay. People sometimes, I've done like some table reads and other things like that. And oh, sorry, I don't know what my phone is doing. Are you there?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I lost your video. Oh, there you are. Okay. Somebody texted and the whole thing went crazy. Anyway, yes, I've been doing some things and they've been asking to wear headphones. And then when I get there, they're like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, okay. Because it looks funny when we're all wearing headphones, when it's visual. Sound wise, obviously, it doesn't matter.
What's the motivation for headphones in a table read?
Because we're not in a real table. We're on Zoom.
Right.
So it's like they want the sound to be clean. But for the most part, if I'm in a really quiet room and there's a lot of people in there anyway, as far as like the Zoom, I don't know how much the headphones really help. I mean, maybe they would.
I get it. The other thing that happens a little bit is if we talk over each other, for whatever reason, if you're not wearing headphones, it clips. Like it's just causes sound nightmares for
it's not a problem. I can wear them.
Oh, you're rocking
just not
those phones.
Not the wireless ones.
No, we don't want that. We don't want to be accused of anything.
I know. I was like, that sounds terrible to think that its signal is bouncing around in my brain.
I'd never heard that before, and now I'm paranoid about it too because I wanted to get wireless because at the gym I would have the wired ones, and they'd be wrapped around everything, and they'd be getting yanked out of my ears. And this is for 30 years, you know. So I thought the next time I get headphones, they're going to be wireless. But then two things happened. A, the gym I haven't been back to since COVID. It's open, but I'm not going back.
Right.
And then you just told me it's going to give me migraines. So
I mean, I don't know if it's going to give you. First of all, if you're only wearing them for an hour a day or something, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I've been wearing them every time I'm on the phone. I wear them when I go on runs. Whatever. But it is a lot. It's so much better when you're exercising to have the wireless on, and even when you're talking on the phone, because I can put the phone down and just walk around my house, and it's like. But I don't know. I've quit dairy and gluten and caffeine trying to get rid of these migraines. It's like been a nightmare.
You also quit cigarettes, did you not, this year?
I did. It was a little over 5 months ago.
How's that going?
Good. I mean, yesterday I had a really bad day and I really wanted one.
Really?
And I kind of broke a little bit of my dairy rule yesterday because it was going to be something. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I was like, something's going to break here. And I don't want to obviously have a cigarette. So I got Taco Bell and I didn't order anything with gluten specifically. Like I didn't get any flour tortillas. I got corn things or whatever, but I definitely had dairy. I had a lot of that cheese sauce that probably also has wheat flour in it for God knows who knows.
How did you feel after?
Not wonderful, to be honest. It didn't feel that great because I've been eating pretty healthy lately. So it was like, Taco Bell. But I drank a lot of water and I went to bed early and I slept for like 9 hours, which never happened. So maybe my body was just like,
we're done here.
Yeah, we're out. We're out. I don't know. But yes, the cigarettes it's been hard. I've been out in the world a little more now. And before it was like easy because I was home. So it's like, I didn't have a whole lot of triggers. Like driving is a trigger for me. Being around other smokers is a trigger. Eating at a restaurant and smoking after is a trigger. And I didn't have any of those. And now that I've been out and driving and whatever, it's definitely like re-triggered things that like I haven't really thought about. It's just those brain pathways. They work. They always work.
How long did you smoke for?
Like 24 years.
Oh, really?
Since I was 16. Well, when I was 16 and 17, I had like a pack and it would last me like a month and a half. Like It would be like sometimes I would sneak outside of my room and like smoke a cigarette, in the middle of the night. Or like if I was out with somebody. And then in college, that's when I really started to smoke. When I was 17-ish, I went to college and my roommate smoked. You could smoke in the dorms at the time. And I got up to like probably 2 packs a day, I swear, in college. And then when I quit recently, I was smoking about a little bit more than half a pack a day. But yeah, it's kind of weird not to be a smoker. It's just it's very much part of my identity because I've been doing it since I was 16. Like I don't know how to be an adult without a cigarette. I've never been an adult without a cigarette.
Why did you quit?
Well, it's bad for you, I heard. But it was bad for me for 24 years, so that didn't stop me. I don't know. It was COVID, really. Like I was having a lot of breathing issues. Like I just felt like I couldn't breathe a lot. And the more I couldn't breathe, the more I would panic that I had COVID, especially in the beginning when we had no idea what was going on. And I was like, I'm going to get sick. And everyone's talking about how smokers are getting sick. And I just hated that I couldn't breathe. And there were some days that it got so bad that I was like, oh my God, what if I really couldn't breathe? Like, what if I couldn't breathe? Like I had emphysema or God forbid, or something, lung cancer, God forbid. And I just was like, I have to stop this. And one day, and I swear to you, laziness finally helped me. I woke up. I had no cigarettes. And I was like, damn it. I don't want to put on a bra. I don't want to go get them. I don't want to pay for them. I don't want to go out. Like I said to you, I didn't want to get dressed up I don't want to have to like shower and put on makeup. I'm just lazy. I'm lazy sometimes. So I just like utter sheer laziness made me not go get them. I was like, I just don't want to. And who's going to make me? And I'm not going to do it. And I had patches here because I was like, I'm going to quit one day. And so I put on a patch instead. And I was like, here's your nicotine, bitch. Like, you're not going to smoke. And I'm not going anywhere. So good luck with that. And I just I wore the patches for like 2 days. And then I was like, these patches are so stupid. And they were hurting my skin and making me itchy. And I was like, what's the point of the patches? Like, so I'm not even like off the drug. And I don't know. When I do something all the way. And if I don't want to do it all the way, I don't do it. I don't do it at all. So it's a curse and a blessing, I guess.
But you've done it. You've managed to make it 5 months now in a very stressful 5 months.
That's probably been the hardest part. I've definitely gained weight because I had to substitute it with some stress reliever that was not healthy.
Sure.
I've definitely eaten more than I used to, but I'm trying to like, now that I don't feel as like cigarette dependent, I've tried to like watch my diet and I'm walking and whatever and trying to be healthier, I guess. I'm 41. You can't like fuck around anymore when you're 41. I don't know. I just feel like you gotta start taking care of yourself. Like everything starts to fall apart. Like everything started to fall apart.
Do you feel like I have 50 on the horizon now, and I don't really feel a day over 32. Like in my head, I'm still 32.
Oh, I love that you say 32. I'm like not a day over 17.
Really?
My body does not feel that way. My body feels like I'm 60. Like, I don't know. My body does not feel young. But in my head, I honestly don't feel any older. Maybe not 16, but in my 20s. I feel like when I'm hanging out with well, that's not true. When I'm hanging out with like college kids, I feel like I'm one of them, but at the same time, I feel like, oh my God, you guys are babies. Like what? Like it also makes me feel really old sometimes.
I have the same thing when I'm playing on shows with bands because most of the bands are in their 20s,
Young.
And I feel like, I'm one of the gang, but I'm like, a lot of these folks, I could be dad. And that's like, you kind of look up and you'll catch your reflection. And you're like, oh man, I'm so not one of these kids. It can be really unnerving.
For me, it happens when they say something, just anything, just the way they talk and the words they use and stuff that I always thought I'd be on top of those things. Like, I know what's new and I know what this means and I know it. And sometimes they say things I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, you're speaking like a language I've never heard before. And this may even be an old thing, but spilling the tea. Have you ever heard that?
I don't think I know that one. I'm long out of that language, man.
So spilling the tea means kind of like somebody who's like either confessing or like talking about somebody, like there's like a rumor going around or they have something to say. It's like you're giving up information, right? And It's not necessarily a good thing. I think. And I teach 6th and 7th graders. This year it's 5th and 7th, but normally it's 6th and 7th. And one of them last year, I said something to them. I'm like, what's going on over there? Because there was a bunch of kids like in a circle, like all huddled around it. Oh, Jonah's just spilling the tea about whatever. And I go, what does that mean? Is he spilling tea? I was like, is he spilling tea on the floor? I'll kill him. I just was like so upset. And she's like, no, he's like talking shit about somebody. And I was like, oh, talking shit. That I understand. I know what talking shit is.
Does this bother you as a screenwriter? Because now there's a whole generational language you need to know.
It does. I worry about ever writing anything with a teenager or a kid because I don't know that I really have my finger on the pulse of what they're saying anymore. But it's all really weird because like now with COVID and stuff, I keep waiting for TV shows and movies to come out where everybody's wearing masks because that's our reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so is every time they go outside, is every extra going to be in a mask? I mean, is that what we're going to see from now on until we don't wear masks? Or are we just going to ignore the mask thing for TV and film and just pretend like that's not an issue?
Well, what's it like in LA, mask wise right now?
For the most part, when I'm out, I don't go out that much, to be honest, because I actually hate wearing a mask. And of course, I'm going to wear one, but I just don't. I prefer not to go out. So I get my groceries delivered and I just don't even want to deal with it. But when I go out, most people are in masks, except for like I was at the beach the other day and almost no one was wearing a mask.
Oh, really?
Granted, everybody was like far apart from other people. Like people were spread out. And you were definitely more than 12 feet away from other people. But I don't know. Even like on Venice Beach, I saw a bunch of people not wearing masks, like on the boardwalk. And it's, I don't know. It seems to be half and half. I see half yes and half no. And even some people who are wearing it like below their nose or some shit. And I'm like, you know what? Don't even wear it. Like, why are you even bothering? Like it's completely pointless if it's below your nose. So, I don't know. It's frustrating that people can't just like say, okay, I know this is uncomfortable. I know this is not what I want to be doing. And I can't really breathe that well in it. And it fogs my glasses and whatever. But I'm going to do it for the good of the people around me because I don't know who I've been exposed to and I don't know who they've been exposed to. And we're trying to get this thing gone and it's never going to be gone if it keeps spreading and spreading and we don't have a way to stop it. And now we have sorry to bring politics, an idiot president who's telling everybody it's not a big fucking deal. And it's like, you're still killing people with your bullshit. Whatever. He's getting the best healthcare this country has to offer. Like, nobody else is. Nobody else is coming out of... He was tested positive for COVID in 2 days. He's better? I'm sorry. Who? Even somebody who had a mild case, is it better in 2 days? Nobody. So either he didn't have it, or he's getting treatments that nobody else can have.
Right.
And it's like... it's not okay. And meanwhile, telling everybody it's no big deal, go out there and open up your states. Get more people out there. It blows my mind.
Do you have to wear masks indoors? Like at restaurants or in wherever?
So restaurants here are not open indoors. You can there's outdoor seating only.
Yeah.
Can you eat inside?
You can in certain parts of this part of the country. So we have some hot spots here where they've begun to reshut things down to try and get it back under control.
As far as I know, at least legally, you cannot eat inside of a restaurant or a bar. Even bars have moved their tables out to the parking lot and there's still bars and there's still people going out, but they're sitting outside. And you have to wear a mask except for when you're eating. So basically when you're sitting at the table, nobody's wearing a mask because you're eating, you're talking, you're drinking. That's what you're there to do. And so nobody's putting on their mask in between while they're waiting for their food. I don't see anybody really doing that. And honestly, some of these places are not 6 feet apart, like these tables. They're outside, but they're not.
Right.
They're a little bit closer than they really should be if you were, some places have plexiglass between the tables, like the nice restaurants have plexiglass. So you're really like separated. But yeah, there's like really nothing to do here. Like, unless you're going to go outside, like hiking or to the beach or whatever, or you're going to go to a restaurant or a bar that's outside. If you do that, which a lot of people are not doing, there's nothing else you can really, I guess there's drive-ins. There's a couple of drive-ins that are a little bit far, but I went to one that was about an hour away because I was just like, I just want to go to a movie.
Yeah.
I just that's what I miss the most is movies, because for me, that was one of my escapes. I would go alone all the time. And if I just like had an empty day or just nothing to do, or I just wanted to get out of the house, like that was like my fun thing that I wanted to do, even by myself. And I can't do that now. That's frustrating, but I get it. There are, I think, some theaters open in some certain places, maybe not LA, but around. But it's like also same reason I'm not going to fly right now. I just because like you're telling me it's safe and you're taking all these precautions and stuff. Why am I going to put myself in an extra added, unnecessary, risky situation? You know?
Yeah. Have you been on a film set at all during COVID?
No, I have not. I have friends who have been. One of them, he's getting tested like almost every day on set, if not every day. They're testing everybody, which I can't even imagine what it costs because they have to get results back that day, which means it's the expensive test.
Right.
And I just don't know how an indie production would be able to even do that, especially not with what SAG, if you want to do it SAG is not going to allow, like there's rules already in place and things that you have to do. And that all costs even more money than it was already costing. I mean, Boo cost me a fortune. If I had to add that on top of that, I don't think I would have been able to make it. It would have been like way too much money. And honestly, it's happening. I don't know how really safe it is. I'm not going to say that if somebody offered me a job, I'd say no if they had all the precautions in place and people were getting tested every day and it was like legit and there was like masks and whatever. But it seems like not the smartest thing to do right now.
Yeah. I mean, music is much the same, right?
Yeah.
I've had
maybe even more so because you're so close to each other.
Yeah. I've had show opportunities that I've had to turn down out of a sense of ethics because I felt it was not wise to bring together groups of people. So it's really strange right now. And the other problem is you don't know when this will ever end. So if you're an indie filmmaker or an indie musician, it's like, what do you do now? What do you do? What are you doing? You working on, last time we talked, you were writing a feature. How's that going? She's laughing. Still working on it?
It's actually like less done than it was the last time I talked to you.
Okay.
Because I wrote like 60 or 70 pages of it and then realized that it's terrible and it's not what I wanted. It's just it's just bad in many ways. And there's something there. It's just not there. And I gave it to some people and I got like literally pages of notes from everybody. I mean, pages. So much so that I was like, nope, no. And so I kind of decided to attack the same story, but from like a whole different angle. So I'm almost basically starting from scratch with the same character, essentially. Sure. So yeah, I'm still doing that. And I'm writing that. I've been trying to focus more as far as my film career on the writing because that's the only thing I can do alone, really. There's not a lot of acting opportunities, even if I wanted to do them right now. Casting offices are closing, agents are closing, it's just, they're keeping cast lists very small, which means that however hard it was before to get on something, it's like 30 times harder now because now they're going to take the 4 famous people and F everybody else because they can't afford it.
And you can't, your answer to that in the past has been, well, screw you, I'm going to make my own movies then.
Which now I can't even really do.
No, you can't do.
I can't. So I wrote a short a few weeks ago because I wanted to get something in for Nightmares Film Festival, which is one of my favorite film festivals. And I literally found out, I was like, oh, the deadline's in 2 days. And I was like, I don't have anything. And so I took out really, really bad short that I wrote in college, okay, like 20 something years ago. And I tried to kind of make it horror, and it wasn't really working. And then the more I played with it, the more it kind of evolved into something else. And eventually I came out with a 6-page script that like had one line from the original script. And there was, other than that, was like nothing like it. But I wrote this one with the intent that like maybe we could shoot this even now, because it happens in one room. It would be really easy. I wouldn't really even have to do permits and stuff like that, probably because I'm not going out anywhere. Like we could shoot it undercover, so to speak. And it could really be done with like a 3-person crew. It's not complicated. And a lot of the more complicated stuff is all visual effects, which can be done by somebody on a computer somewhere else. So I kind of wrote this to possibly shoot. If this continues, I could probably still shoot this somehow. But yeah, like I theoretically could probably even be shot in a day, maybe. Yeah. Which would make it like if I did have to get testing for everybody or whatever, like theoretically it wouldn't be super, super expensive. And there's a company that's Boo. The reason I contacted you is Boo. My short is coming out on Alter on October 19th. Thank you. I'm very excited because it's a big YouTube channel that comes from the production company Gunpowder and Sky is the one that puts it out. And they get millions and millions and millions of views on their projects. So I'm expecting that. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, I hope. And they contacted me about possibly making, or at least being open to hearing about what I would want to do as a feature for Boo, because they do take on certain shorts to help and help finance them and make them features under the Gunpowder and Sky production company. Of course, right now, I don't know if that's happening or whatever, but I know that they like my work, they like me, and I know that if I came to them with something, if they were interested in it, I have a contact now of somebody I could be like, here, I have an idea for the feature. So I'm kind of brainstorming a Boo feature.
Cool.
Which would also be something I'd have to write. Yeah. Maybe I should just work on that, because this other one is just like, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I just can't give it up. Everyone's like, just put it away. And I'm like, I can't just like not write this. I have to write this. Like it's been years that I've been wanting to write it, and I keep putting it away for a few months and coming back, and I just need to get it done. At this point, I just need to write it and just make it bad, and that's okay. Like I just
You know what? What does happen is you have a project like that that's stuck. Energetically, it's stuck. When you go on and you work on something else, sometimes your subconscious will shake that down in the background while you're away,
sure.
Right?
Well, that's what happens. That's why I started working on Eden, the short script that I wrote, because I was like, you know what? I just need to write anything else. Just anything else. I just need to sit down and just write something else. And so, and finishing, it's only 6 pages. So it was like, I was able to write it and finish it. And I was like, I finished something.
That feels
good. Something. It feels so good. And honestly, I don't feel like it's finished. I keep going back to it. It's like, I want to fix it. There's so many things I want to do with it now that I've thought about it more than 2 days. But now it's up. It's a finalist at the festival. And, obviously, if it wins or something, which I highly doubt it, but if it did, I couldn't mess with it. I feel like I have to leave it to win, and it is. Right. And if it doesn't win, then I'm going to mess with it.
Okay. Well, you're getting used to winning, I would think. Boo is cleaning up still.
Boo is still doing really well. We just won an award like a month and a half ago at a festival that went virtual, Cordillera. We won Best Horror Short. It's still got a couple more festivals coming up because some of them got postponed and some of them moved and whatever. We even got into one and it's in Jamaica, but now they want to do it online. And I just don't know if I trust this Jamaican festival to put my thing online and have it be safe from pirating and...
Oh, really? That's like a thing? That's a danger?
I mean, look, it is a danger. For a feature, it's way more dangerous because a feature is something you're hoping to make money off of. Obviously, my short, I'm not making money off of. And if somebody wanted to pirate it and more people saw it, then I guess that's kind of the point of it anyway, is more people seeing it.
Yeah.
But I would like to not have people steal my work and present it, without my knowledge or permission or whatever. Like, Boo's going to be on Alter. It's also, we haven't gotten the confirmation yet, so I can't really say where, but it's a really big horror website, and they're doing a new Roku VOD channel, and Boo is probably going to be on their premiere episode of their shorts program.
Oh, amazing. Wow.
And I can't say anything else about it, but so once it's on there and once it's on Alter, I'm going to leave it on there for a little bit, and then I'm probably going to explore putting it other places, like on my YouTube and on, there's a thing called Short of the Week, and there's like different places for shorts to live. And so once but I want to give Alter the views right now, because I would love to see, like, we got 5 million views or whatever. Like, yeah, that would be kind of awesome. So I don't want to split the audience, meaning, like, I don't want people to have to go different places. So I'm going to let it live there for a while. And then I don't know. I've heard of people pirating shorts, and it just kind of sucks. But what are you going to do? Like, with a feature, though, it would make me extremely nervous, because once that gets out, it's very hard to sell it if it's online or something.
Right. It's already out there. Jackson Love is on Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime, and I'm selling / renting it on Vimeo on demand.
I watched it on Vimeo. Yeah.
Thank you.
I rented it on Vimeo, actually.
I appreciate you doing that, because you can. Oh, because Prime is not in Canada. Maybe I don't know if it's playing in Canada.
It's not.
Yeah, I put it on. I put it for Canada, UK, like worldwide, but Amazon decides who they're going to allow to see it. Like I said, you can put it wherever you want, and they put US only, I think. So, like, I even put, like, Japan. I was like, I don't care. Play it everywhere. Play it wherever you want. It's not like I get I think it's 4 cents for every hour of streaming.
So that's 3 times through the movie.
3 views gets me 4 cents.
Oh, you're doing better than we do on Spotify.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 0.0000 ad infinitum.
I mean, it's pretty bad. At least Alter gives you a little chunk of money up front, but I mean, it's a small amount, but it's something. And then people can watch it for free on their channel. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to subscribe or anything, but yeah.
So did you imagine, I mean, the shorts that you've produced are basically were intended to be business cards for you as an actor, fundamentally. Yeah. And then you've wound up winning all these directing awards and all these things, which is a great thing. But did you see all of this coming for Boo? Or was it a complete surprise?
No, because I honestly thought Jax was my masterpiece. But as of now, Boo is really my masterpiece. Also because I directed it, so I feel more like I have way more control. Not even control, because I had a lot of control over Jax, but it's more my baby, I guess, and I felt like I'm more connected to it. I did not expect this. I honestly just wanted people to hire me as an actor. Like, I only wrote it so that I could act in it, and I only directed it because I figured that's who gets the attention with these things. Like, nobody gives a shit who acts in it. Like, if you want people to care about your project, they want to know that you directed it. Because a lot of people with Jax came up to me and they're like, oh, I loved your movie. It was the first one you directed. And I was like, I didn't direct it technically, like Colin Campbell directed it. I definitely had 1,000% input, and I was there talking to the actors and everything, but I can't say that I directed it. So I wanted to be able to say that I directed it.
I get it.
And now everyone's like, you're a director. And I'm like, I'm an actor. But I don't know. I'll take it. Look, if you want to give me a job as a director, I'll take the job. I need the job. I'm not as passionate about it as acting, and I'm not as passionate about directing as the other directors that I've met. Like, that's their life goal.
Right.
And for me, it's something I enjoy doing. I liked doing it. But I don't get the same love out of it that I do as acting. But I feel like I have to shift out of acting anyway, because it doesn't seem to be a career that's going anywhere for me, at least right now, because of all the extra challenges on top of whatever challenges existed before. So I'm trying to write more because it's something I can do without anybody else and without any money. And obviously if somebody wanted me to direct something, I would. And obviously if I were to make anything else, I would direct it. I would never hire someone else to direct it at this point. Honestly, as a director, I probably have more of a career ahead of me than as an actor, which is kind of sad because I've worked on acting for so many years and directing like for nothing, like no time.
I think it will be interesting to see where the next breakthrough comes. So whether because you're trying to level up wherever you can in the business,
sure.
you know, and I'm curious to see whether you get a level up as an actor or as a director, like which, or even as a writer, like somebody could come in to you to write something for them too. Like your pal, Adam Sandler, for example.
My brother, Adam Sandler. I mean, yeah, look, he was a comedian. He was a stand-up. I mean, I don't think he considered himself a writer, and I don't think he considered himself a producer even, maybe. But that's definitely what he's known for more now. I mean, obviously acting, but yeah, I'm interested too. That's why from people who could actually give me a leg up in my career, they've been interested in my writing and or directing. None of them are like coming to me like, we want to put you in our movie. Like nobody's saying that. They're saying like, we want you to, we want to see what you've written. Or I had a producer come to me and say like, would you be interested in maybe directing this feature? And I read it, and actually it was a really good feature. I liked it a lot. It was like a teenage version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, kind of present day. It was actually really fun. But at the time I had literally just finished Boo, and I did not feel honestly equipped to direct this movie. I was like, there's car chases. I mean, I was like, what do I know about doing any of this? I've since learned that nobody knows how to do any of that stuff. And you just have to get the right people to do those things. Like, you don't know how to do a car chase. That's fine. You're going to hire people who know how to set that up and organize that. Like, you're just going to oversee it. Like, that's what the director does.
Like a car chase, you basically have to storyboard every second of that. Do you not? A car chase?
Sure, but I think apparently, I guess there are people that are like stunt coordinator would do that.
Sure,
okay. They wouldn't necessarily storyboard it, but they were the ones who would like choreograph it, so to speak, and figure out what you would need. And also, there was just like a lot of fight scenes and stuff. And they're like, yeah, you would get a stunt coordinator to do that. You wouldn't need to figure out how do I shoot this fight. Like, they would help you figure out how to shoot it. But at the time, I felt very overwhelmed by the whole thing. And on top of that, I was like, do I really want the first feature I direct to be some project that I don't really care about? Like, as far as like in my heart, in my like a passion. And it's not mine.
Yeah.
And it's not, not to say I would never direct something that's not mine, but for my first one, I feel like it should really be mine. And also features, it's a good 3 years of your life, at least, minimum. And I'm like, do I want to spend the next 3 or 4 years on a project that's not mine, directing something that who knows what will happen to it, that means really nothing to me other than a job? And unless they were going to pay me a shit ton of money somehow, that it was just so worth it that who cares?
Yeah.
Which I don't think was going to happen, especially for a first time director. Then I just decided to pass on it. And I feel okay about that, because I'd rather put those 3 or 4 years into my own project.
Definitely.
And when they say this is your Rakefet's first directorial debut, feature debut or whatever, I want it to be a project I really care about and it matters to me, because it's going to be my calling card too, even more so than the shorts.
Well, when you direct something of your own, when you've written it, you've imagined it.
Sure.
You've seen it in your head, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very organic. You're the writer, so you get how this should look and how this should go.
It's a lot easier, and you're not fighting with a writer. You're not.
Right.
There's a lot of going back and forth. Like this, you're telling the writer's telling the director, "Here it is," and the director's like, "Well, this doesn't make sense, and this doesn't make sense, and I don't want this, and I don't like this," and then the writer has to fix it.
Right.
And I don't have to do that if I wrote it, because I can change whatever I want whenever I want to change it.
That's right.
And the only people I'd answer to, obviously, are the money people, whoever those people might be. So at this point, I'll take any leveling up. If they want me to be the lead singer of a band, that'll never happen, though, because I'm like a terrible singer.
You never know, man. Stranger things have happened.
Look, I've heard some bad singers, so I guess
right. I've seen them with my own eyes.
I'm sure.
Did you see Sandler's new movie? Incidentally,
I did. Hubie's Halloween.
Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween. I accidentally was. I was like, "What is this? A new Adam Sandler movie?" I hadn't even heard of it, and so I watched it. Adam, I don't know. He said he was going to troll people after he didn't win for Uncut Gems, that he was going to make some shitty, like, ridiculous, stupid movie, because that's all you people want out of me, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And he should have won, by the way. I'm just going to put it out there that he should have won Best Actor for Uncut Gems. He just was so good. But this movie is very Adam Sandler,
Was it ever?
I mean, it was the most Adam Sandler as it gets, I feel like. I think it was, and I think if you love, like, dumb Adam Sandler movies versus the better ones, in my opinion, you're gonna love this movie. It was sweet. It definitely had heart. It was, like, sweet.
That's his calling card, right? With those movies, they always have heart.
Yeah, it was very sweet, and I love Julie Bowen, and I worked with her before,
oh, really?
And yeah, I worked with her on Kids in America, this feature I did like a million years ago. And she obviously hasn't worked with Adam since they did, I think, Happy Madison, But
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Madison's his company, right?
That's right.
Happy Gilmore. But like, I love him and I love her. I thought the movie was incredibly dumb. But I mean, I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be. And honestly, if I was a kid, I would have really loved it. The fart jokes and the vomiting and the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so silly. I don't love those kinds of movies. There's definitely an audience for them, and Adam Sandler does it super well, and they make a ton of money. I just like his better things. Like, just some of his projects are more thoughtful than others.
He has chops, and he has legit talent. Like, people.
Oh, yeah.
People don't see it. Like, people didn't see. Like, Punch Drunk Love was like the first one where it was like a serious movie and a creepy movie.
People
didn't know what to make of that because they were expecting Happy Gilmore and The Wedding Singer.
I got a lot of shit because people were expecting something they didn't get.
Right.
But I actually loved that I saw it. When I saw it, I was like, I love that I'm not getting what I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
It's also P.T. Anderson. It's not an Adam Sandler movie.
No, but
he is a very talented actor.
Right.
And I think we've seen that. Look, comedy is actually, I think, harder than drama in a lot of ways. For me, drama is really easy. Comedy is a lot harder. Comedy is timing. Comedy is like music. Everything is timing. Horror is also like comedy as well. Horror is also timing.
Yeah.
It's timing, and you have to really be a good actor to sell these crazy characters.
Right.
Because if you're not, it comes off looking not good. It just doesn't, you cannot be a bad actor and do comedy well. I just don't think you can. I think most comedians are actually very good actors. I just saw a movie last night with Kristen Wiig called Love Ship, Hate Ship. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't know that one, no.
It came on accidentally. I don't even know how it started playing. I was watching The Golden Girls on Hulu, and I think I sat on my remote, and it changed to Showtime. And it, like, started this movie, and it just started playing, and at first I was like, what's going on? And then I saw Kristen Wiig, and she just, like, pulled me in, because I love her.
She's really good, yeah.
she does not 1 minute of comedy in this movie. I mean, it is like the most restrained performance. I can't explain it. The movie itself was like, it was okay, but she was so good in it. And so you would never look at this woman and go, that's a comedian. Like,
Right.
never. Like, never. And she does comedy, like, so well.
Yes.
And she can do drama so well. And I'm just, like, that's the kind of career I want to have, where I can be like, I'm known for how good I am at comedy, and I'm also known for how good I am at drama, because I'm just known for being a good actor, not because I'm one thing or another.
So you're going to have to write like a straight up comedy. You've become this horror person somehow, but you're going to have to do something.
I know. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened. I swear to you, 5 years ago, if someone had told me that I would be like a horror, like big in the horror community, in the horror indie community, I would have laughed in their face. I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Like, you're just like, that's like if you had told me I'd be president in 5 years from now, I'd be like, okay.
I wish that was the case.
Oh God, I don't. That's
how much worse could you do?
It's true. He has proven that anyone could do the job, right? For the most part. Not well, but can do it.
Could do it.
Could do it. But yeah, I would never want to be president. But I mean, that's how unlikely it is. Like the likelihood of me doing horror. But I don't know. I have a love-hate thing with horror. I love the community, and I love kind of making them, and I love even watching them, but I also hate being scared. I really don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like, people are like, let's go to a haunted house, or they have this like haunted drive-in where people jump on your car and stuff.
Why would
Halloween.
You want to do that?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. I don't at all want to do that. And I know people who would like laugh at it, who would like, they're such a big horror fans that it wouldn't even like affect them. And I am honestly in awe of those kinds of people, because I don't know how they're not afraid all the time. I have to watch movies with the sound off so that I'm not scared. I watch with subtitles. I watched the others with subtitles the other day and the sound off, because the music scares me. It's the music. It's always the music. And it's just like Boo, I didn't feel like was that, I don't know, we were watching a cut of it and I liked it and it was okay. And then we got the score. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And it was the music. It had nothing to do with anything else. It was all the music.
What I find interesting after watching Jax is that, I've heard it said that you can't write what you're not capable of. Like, you came up with that stuff, and it's pretty dark and scary. So that's in you somewhere.
True? You can't write what you're capable of? I don't know. I think it's like write what you know.
I mean, you can't write what you can't imagine. So if you can imagine that, then it's in you somewhere.
Well, to be honest, with Jax, the whole idea that she was, at this point, whatever, she's a serial killer, was not my idea. It was like an idea that came from a friend of mine.
You're trying to get yourself off the hook here.
I know. I'm just trying to say that's how I ended up writing a horror, because my friend who is a horror fan was like, what if she's a serial killer? I'm like, that actually might work.
That opened a portal.
I like that. And then everyone's like, why would you write a horror? I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that I did.
I think you protest too much. I think you're denying this in yourself.
I could never kill somebody. I wanted to maybe kill people. But I honestly am afraid of like get needles. Like I don't like blood. I hate blood. Even in Boo, there's a part where she's licking some blood and it's not real blood. And I still was like having a problem with it.
Well, it's meant to look like, real.
Yes, it tasted like mint. Which is a weird taste for a red thing to be. Yeah. It was a weird combo.
Candy cane.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about it like that. It didn't taste good. And a couple of times we needed more blood that, like, because there's blood. We had three types of blood on the Boo set. There was edible blood. There was blood that would stain and stay, like, that would sit, like, settle. And then there was blood that would drip. And we had to use different kind of blood for different things. And then I guess the blood that I had to eat didn't it's a lot thinner. It doesn't look as good. And so we ended up having to put some of the other blood on. So I ended up eating some other blood that probably wasn't super edible, but it was like, we need it to look better.
See, this is what people don't realize goes into shooting a film. We had 3 different types of blood on set for different applications.
And one of them is not, 2 of them were not edible, but I ate them anyway. There's some contacts that were very painful, and wearing them for 12 hours and you can't see out of them was not good. And I'm also blind, so I couldn't wear my glasses or my contacts with these contacts, so I couldn't see anything. And I'm directing.
Oh, wow.
It was a little bit hard.
I guess.
And painful. And they were expensive. They were very, very expensive. So... yeah, it's a lot goes into it. Yes.
Yes, but you obviously you do love it on some level.
I like going to festivals and getting awards.
Let's be honest about our motivations. That's okay. Isn't that the first thing they taught you at film school? It's like it's all about the awards.
To be honest, it was never my motivation because I didn't even know it existed.
Right.
Like with Jax, I had no idea who I was even making it for. I didn't really think, I'm going to put it in festivals, because I didn't really even think there are festivals. I don't know. I thought I knew about Sundance. I knew about South by Southwest, but I'm like, this isn't right. Like the big festivals that like this movie is not going to get into any of those festivals. And so after I made it, it was kind of like an eye-opening experience to see that there are literally tens of thousands of festivals.
Yeah.
Not all good. All good. Most of them not. And then I didn't know you could even win awards when I made it. I had no idea. Like, it wasn't even like a thing. I didn't know that was even like a thing. And I remember I won my first award at Nightmares Film Festival for Best Actress. And when they called my name, like, to be nominated already, I swear, it truly is like an honor. It is, because you're just like, wow, you picked me out of all the films. That's so nice, out of, 5 people or whatever. And then when I won, I was crying. There's video of me. I walked up there. I was bawling. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Oh my God. I mean, because I didn't play sports when I was younger. And I didn't get trophies for anything. I didn't win awards for things. Like, I didn't win awards. So it was like the first award I had ever really like won. And it just meant so much to me. Anyway, so the point being is it's not a motivation, but it definitely is. It's nice to be recognized after all the work that you do, because I've been working for years in this business and not being recognized. And so it's nice to finally be recognized that, oh, you're a good actress, or you're a good director, or you're a good writer. Because you don't get to hear that a lot, especially not in our business. Like, you don't hear that.
Did you need that affirmation, or is it just nice?
I think on some level you do need it, I do, because it's not that I need it, I guess. It's that it's more than nice and less than needing it. It's like, to keep going, it's really helpful to be told, like, you're doing the right thing.
Sure.
You're in the right field. Your work is top of these 45 films, and that's what we chose. And that means something to me. Not because those 45 are not good. I'm sure they are. Mm-hmm. But, like, for whatever reason, they chose me, and that makes me feel like it's worth it and I'm not wasting my time. There's so much rejection,
right,
and so much sacrifice that goes into being an artist of any kind, musician, like anything. And it's so rare that you get someone that says to you, good job. You're really good at this.
Right.
Keep doing it. It's really good for you. And although now the flip side of that coin is I have my trophies displayed. I
was going to say, where's the shelf? You're giving them away now. Just like, oh, here, take it.
I can show you. There's some of my, I don't know if you can see them.
Oh, movie trophies are cool.
Yeah, there's lots of, and the best part about it is that's not some stupid, like, generic trophy. Like, most of these festivals create their own based on their mascot or their whatever. And they're really cool, like, pieces of art. Like, they're really well done and beautiful, and There's a few that I have my eye on that I just want so bad that like just because I
just
like
as art
them.
pieces. So do you have space carved out for your BAFTA and your Golden Globe and your Oscar?
Yeah, right. Sure. Honestly, some of these are way more beautiful than the Oscar, but I will take an Oscar. I have no problem with that. But I think, but also the awards kind of taunt you, because you're like, am I ever gonna win? Am I ever gonna do this good again? Am I ever gonna write something that good again? Am I ever gonna make something that good again? It could be like that. This is where it ends, kind of a feeling. Especially when Boo and Jack's both did so well, it makes everything else have a super high bar for me.
There's pressure, yeah.
There's a lot of pressure, mainly my own pressure, but definitely some external pressure. People like, what's next? What are you doing? Like somebody on an interview the other day that I don't even know where they even heard about it. I guess just being in the indie horror community, he said, so what about Eden? And I was like, how do you know about
this?
Like, I just was like, how do you even know about that? Like, why are you even asking me about that? I had literally written like 2 weeks before it. I got into Nightmares, and I'm sure that's where they saw it. But it was like not even a thing to me yet, and suddenly it was already a thing to somebody else.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, yeah. But look, I think Eden is good, but I don't think it's Jax or Boo. It's not. Jax and Boo both each took me almost a year to write, like 6 months to a year to write.
Yeah.
This took me 2 days. I don't think it's as good. And I'll say that I don't care. It's not as good. It's not as good. And I am really hard on myself, which is why this feature is not finished. So I just would rather take 2 years to write something really good than take 1 year to write something that I don't really love.
Yeah, I get it.
And some people are willing to just put out whatever, just to keep putting things out.
Some people are volume people, right?
Right. And I am definitely not volume. I'm more quality over quantity. Not to say, some people I know can put things out in volume and it's actually pretty good.
For sure, yeah.
And I don't know how they do it. I really don't. And I'm impressed by those people. And I'm just not one of those people. I'm just not one of those people. So I don't know if Eden's going to have the same life that Boo and Jax did. And I'm kind of hoping to write something that's more on par with them. But Eden definitely would be a great third to a Jax Boo anthology. Jax Boo Eden anthology. It fits right in. Apparently have one very strong message.
What is that message?
I just keep writing. Kill men! No, I'm just kidding. That's definitely not the message. I'm kidding. No, I think, look, love has always been a really important thing to me in my life. Romantic love, especially. And I've been hurt a lot and lots of drama and heartbreaks and stuff. And it seems like I keep wanting to explore those heartbreaks in my writing, and they tend to kind of have a similar look. Boo and Jax, I think to some degree, are almost the same movie. Like they're
interesting.
They're not, but they are very close. You could line them up and they're very close. And I remember when I finished Boo, I thought everyone's going to be like, oh my God, she can only write one movie. Like, right. That's it. This is it. She just did it with something like another topic, but it's the same movie. And there are definitely a lot of the same themes. It's not the same movie, but there are similar themes. And Eden has a very similar theme as well. But also in all my movies, I end up, the woman ends up being really evil. Like she's kind of a bad person, but it's not her fault.
Oh, yes.
She's a bad person, but it's not her fault.
Right. Just like you as the writer, it's not your fault that people keep getting killed in your movies. It's somebody else put that in your head.
It's not it's never my fault.
Life imitates art.
I've had a lot of bad boyfriends, and some of them deserve the ends that they got in their movies.
Oh, this is cathartic. This is catharsis, and that's what art is for, right? Is to release these emotions. So you kill a guy, hey.
You should be glad I'm doing it in movies and not for real, Like
exactly. So is there's some possibility of COVID coming into a script at some point? Or is that going to be like a boom thing?
So for now, first of all, everybody's doing that right now.
Really,
like
yeah?
Everybody. And they're either doing like Zoom, projects that are all over video conferencing, or they're doing COVID or this or that. I never liked fads.
Right.
And I never liked doing what everybody else is doing. Even my horrors aren't really horrors. They're like my version of horror. They're not really horror. They're more like just effed up people,
Horror light, because you can't take deep scares, so you can't. So you have.
They're horror lights. They are. I don't like really scary things, and so why would I make one?
Right.
But I also don't know how. Everyone's like, oh well, you're probably really good at writing horror because you're scared of everything, so you know what's scary. Because if you're never scared of anything, you don't know how to write what's scary because nothing's scary to you. To me, everything is scary. So things that other people wouldn't think are scary, I would. So I don't know how that translates. But no, I don't think I will write, to answer your question, I don't think I will write anything COVID related. Although I did act in a COVID related project over the summer, only voiceover.
Okay.
It was a short project, and the director asked me if I would do the voiceover of this nurse on the phone. It was like she was screaming and all the stuff. And it was actually really fun to just record all these like screaming lines and like, I'm like, yeah, kill him. And I don't know, whatever was going on. And it was great to be able to be like, look, I added a project to my resume. I didn't have to leave my house.
For sure.
And I'm not even in it. Like I'm not physically in it. So
right. That's very COVID safe the way you operate there.
I did it in my mom's closet.
That's a dangerous place to be, I bet. A lot of
she has a big closet. She has a big closet. But she was downstairs when I was recording, and she came running up, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Mom."
Acting.
Like, I heard you screaming, and I'm like, "I'm trying to record something."
Acting like John Lovitz.
Well, I guess it was good.
Right, very effective. Right, very effective. All right, so I'm gonna say congratulations on the altar thing. That's exciting for the movie.
Thank you. It comes out October 19th, and I hope everyone will go check it out. If you go to watchalter.com, you can see what else they have on there and connect to their page, which is technically on YouTube. It's an altar page on YouTube. But if you watch it, please leave nice comments. I'm very nervous about the trolls because I've heard that with millions of views, you're going to get some not good things.
That's going to happen.
Being said, because it's the internet, and I'm a little bit afraid of that because I have a very thin skin when it comes to these things. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to put it out there anyway and hope that majority is good stuff. And everyone said if you get trolls, it means you're doing something right. So
that just gives you new people to kill in your movies.
Oh, yes. Maybe I will have keep a
little troll list. Yeah. Just keep them in the back pocket if you need victims. Victims.
Thank you. I hope everyone enjoys it. And you can watch Jax on Vimeo on demand or Amazon Prime in the US.
Yes, you can. All right. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. It's great to talk to you again.
Thank you for having me. It was so good to catch up with you.
Should we make this like an annual thing? It was almost exactly a year ago. So.
Was it?
Yeah.
We can make an annual or even semi-annual. We can make it like double 2 times a year. Whatever you want. Whenever you want to chat, I'm here.
You just keep doing cool stuff and we'll come on and we'll talk about it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. All right. I'll talk to you again.
Okay. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you once again, gentle listener, for taking in today's show. If you want to know more about the program, go to www.john-huff.com. That's JOHN-HUFF.com and click on podcast. You can also find the show on Facebook at The John Huff Podcast. If you're an Instagram person, you can find me at JW_Huff. If you're a Twitter person, you can find me at JWSHuff. No matter where you listen to the show, please do me a big favor and leave a rating and review. Preferably a positive one. That's all the time we have for today, but I'll be back very soon. Until then, keep your wits about you and remember, good things happen when you put yourself out there. Bye for now.
Ooh.